Hey guys, Chris here with Cohesive Friendship Unit. I am joined by Jake,
Hey guys.
Brian,
What's up?
and Jeremy.
Hello.
And we're going to be talking a little bit about the latest microtransaction trend that's been going around, the event/season pass. It's been growing in popularity, but real quick, if you subscribe to the channel, you're entered in a giveaway for some Steam codes. There will be a little card going up right now, and every increment of 50 subs, we give away a key. So that's all you have to do, sub away. Without further ado, here we go. The trend lately, it seems, has been to do these event season passes. They're not like microtransactions, they're like medium transactions. Like,
Whoa.
we had the PUBG event pass that's like $10 a month. We had the Fortnite pass that's a little longer than a month, but still it's about $10. And then Rocket League just added their own kind of event pass. And on top of that, Call of Duty kind of said, we're not going to be selling individual DLC maps anymore. Instead, you have to buy the event pass, or the season pass is what they call it. Effectively the same thing, to get the DLC to essentially be up to date with the game. So it seems a lot of games are basically introducing a subscription model, kind of stealthily. At the moment, it doesn't necessarily impact your gameplay, with the exception of Call of Duty. Like PUBG, you don't need the event pass, but who's to say that next PUBG event pass will lock the map for that event? You know, like the winter map that's coming up, maybe the first month it's out, got the event pass. So I don't know. I just think we should talk about it.
Well, I think for a game like COD, it makes sense because that effectively is like you buy the one that comes out every year, and it's the same thing. You know, they might as well just make DLC and come up with a major update that you have to pay $50 for every couple of years. But I don't know, man. Like, I don't like this.
Well, so now, I mean, the difference between what you just said and what the actuality is for COD, I get that for like Rocket League, but for COD, you still have to buy the new game every year, and you have to pay the $50.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Is
So it's
move away from, and people aren't gonna want to do that. I mean, maybe people will, but maybe they should. What I'm saying is maybe they should move towards making COD a subscription-based game, because that's kind of the model that they've been working on for the past, I don't know, 8 years.
Yeah,
9
effectively.
years.
I mean, when they were months ago, they were moving towards having like that Destiny hub world kind of thing, which was all just them positioning towards the paid cosmetics and kind of essentially milking out more money from their player base. So I think they've been going this direction for a while.
And I think the trouble is with thinking about COD moving towards a subscription model is that right now it is true that, like, yes, COD games come out every year, but you can decide like, oh, like I'll buy Modern Warfare, but I don't need to have Modern Warfare 2. I don't need to have World at War, and then maybe 3 years later or whatever, you can get like a title that will have some growth to it, that will have they'll improve the graphics, they'll improve whatever they're going to do. Whereas if they go on to a subscription model, you're kind of like locked in, right? Like you have to buy every update. Like you can't just choose to opt out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you choose to stop paying, well, then you lose everything that you had.
Well, I mean, I kind of assumed eventually, like when the new game came out, they would stop issuing like subscription stuff. Like the current game would stay as is. Like the subscription-based stuff for that would stop, the DLC stuff and all that.
So Chris, is it?
My idea was,
But that would suck, because then you would have had a bunch of maps and shit that you like
right, but
got
so
to like, and then you wouldn't have access to them ever again.
my point is that we're kind of getting to the point where we're not like there's not that much difference between 4K and like 8K or whatever the next thing that's coming down the line is. It's getting to the diminishing returns, with at least with respect to like what you can realistically do with selling someone a PC or selling someone a console without expecting them to shell out, $1,500 for the latest top of the line graphics, shit in the monitor and whatever. You can kind of put a game out and then wait till the technology catches up to the point where that game looks dated, and keep updating that game. If that's the kind of business model you're working on, which they're working on that business model where they want you to buy their fucking update every year. Just make it one game. It's COD 6 or whatever, and it's going to be updated. We'll keep releasing shit until we come out with COD 7 once the next big thing comes down the pipeline. I mean, again, I'm not endorsing this. I'm not saying that if I had a video game company, I would run it that way, but it would make the most sense to me if I was pursuing their sort of line of financial gains.
So is this like a subscription that they're having people pay for, or is it more of a season pass, which is like a one-time $30, you get all the DLC coming out for the rest of forever?
So with Rocket League, or sorry, Call of Duty,
Yeah.
it's like all or nothing basically, and they are on an annual release cycle. So this is presumably just how it's going to be for this game. The game's going to launch, and you can either spend $50 for the season pass or not spend $50 for the season pass, and all the DLC that will come out that's it. Like, you can't buy Map Pack 1 or Zombie Pack 1. You just have to buy the $50 event pass or not buy it. So you essentially get the base game, or you get the whole experience, $60 or $100. It's up to you.
And is the season pass time limited? Like, do you have to pay for it again every year? Like, is it a $50 per year thing to continue to access the map packs, or is it a one-time purchase?
It's a one-time purchase.
All the DLC.
Right,
One time. Well, yeah, different games are taking this a little differently. In this case, it's a one-time purchase. Yeah.
So like, instead of buying Map Pack 1, Map Pack 2, Map Pack 3 for $20 each, you buy the season pass $60 and you get all three when they eventually come out.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's obnoxious.
spicy opinion here, but I think the season pass model is better for games like Call of Duty than selling individual map packs. We're disregarding the price, which I think is outrageous, because I wouldn't pay game price for DLC, but I think selling all or nothing for map packs is better because it keeps your player base together.
Keeps the casuals casual, and then people who like game.
If you have fans that buy like Map Pack 1 and they don't like 2, and then they buy 3, and then you have some people that buy just 2, and then it's like a matchmaking nightmare. Yep. Whereas this is like, you either have everything or you have the base. But that's not, I think that is kind of outside of the subscription like event pass thing, which I think is much more atrocious than.
Yeah, let's talk about the event pass. Let's shift a little
so
bit.
this is like cosmetic items and shit that doesn't impact the
for now
play, like,
this is
for the most part.
I think the three biggest, I think Fortnite kind of popularized it, but it's a free-to-play game, so throw that out there right now. And then PUBG and Rocket League have recently kind of tagged on, with PUBG being the most, if you stop, even if you keep paying for the season pass, every month you do lose some temporary items. There are items that you only have for the 30 days.
But that I actually don't mind, because those temporary items are for everyone.
No, they're not. I mean, they're for everyone who buys this event pass.
And earns them.
Yeah, you can also earn them without the event pass, right?
Not
no,
really.
You have to buy the event pass and then complete all the objectives to get the stuff. And then they expire.
Really?
You technically can earn experience, but it, like, just getting to level 1 out of 30 is
My impression was that if you didn't buy the event pass, there were temporary items that you could earn over the course of the month or the time period. But if you would purchase the event pass, then the cosmetics that you earned you kept.
No, only some of them.
Well, that's literally the fucking stupidest thing I've ever heard.
So yeah, we talked about the PUBG one and how it was kind of the worst thing we've ever heard of. But you were saying that Rocket League had an event pass coming out.
Yeah, so yeah, Rocket League also has a $10 event pass. I'm not entirely sure how long the event pass runs for. Like, I don't know how much time each event pass is valid for, but it essentially gives you an XP multiplier, which helps you advance more quickly, and leveling up will unlock additional rewards. It's pretty comparable to Fortnite and PUBG, except you get stuff faster and get to keep it.
Yeah. So I think, as always, it's like weird to have DLC that event pass like stuff in games that you buy outright to start with. But for some reason, I don't feel as distasteful towards the Rocket League event pass as I do towards others.
Well, it's definitely more innocuous. Like, it's $10, and like Chris said, you get shit faster. So
Right, but you still.
it's not like they're trying to steal you. Like, you can get free, like, you can play missions in Fortnite and stuff, or like quote unquote missions, like, and get some of the stuff, but they design it so that you're supposed to buy the pass.
Yeah, they're gating you. There's gonna be like
And $10
artificial
is
grinding.
$10 is like, that's not that much.
Well, I think
money.
it's 20 base without the sale.
Well, if it's $10 a month,
20,
like it is in
20 base
PUBG.
for the game.
yeah. But in PUBG, it's $10 a month, so that's $120 a year.
Right.
Fortnite is a little longer, but it's not that much longer. And again, sorry, go ahead.
So I think with Rocket League, so the developers have mentioned that they're not planning on developing a new game. They're going towards the like continued support esports kind of scene with Rocket League. So with that in mind, I guess I don't feel as bad because it's expected that they go this route since they've had so much success with esports and it's an immensely popular game. But like, I guess the trade-off is like, if you're going to continue to support your one game and people are going to play it and there's going to be the player base and continued updates, I don't mind if some people pay to do the DLC or the event pass.
Yeah, like if they're giving you something in fair trade, and you feel that it's worth the amount of money that you're paying for it, then that's cool. But like the COD shit where you're fucking paying $100 for, that's what I agree with you, Jake, 100%. Like, this is out of the ones that we've mentioned. Like, it seems to be the most innocuous,
Right.
because it's not changing the gameplay. It's not constantly like, we want money for stuff that you're going to lose in 30 days, or, it's kind of reasonable. I still don't like it, but it's reasonable.
Right.
Do you think it's a slippery slope, though?
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Agreed.
And I feel like a hypocrite because I know I spent like 20 minutes shitting on PUBG for our event pass video, and now I'm saying, oh, it's not so bad for Rocket League.
No, you're not a hypocrite, because I think we all agreed the biggest issue with
Yeah.
PUBG was like the game is fucking unfinished.
Yeah.
So
the
it's not
biggest-
like you said where you have Rocket League, which is a very successful, well-liked game that, as you said, they're able to continue supporting it and they get some revenue this way. PUBG is a broken game that they've never
Yeah.
bothered to fix it, and they're now like wasting energy trying to monetize.
Right, and they've
Aspects of
kind of put themselves out with all the key bullshit where like you would just get crates that you had to pay money to open. Like, I've been saying it since
And Rocket
day
League
one,
kind of
but
does that.
Rocket League kind of does, but PUBG seems like they're
They're
more,
very bad,
they're
yeah.
they're grabbing the cash, dude. They're
Well-
grabbing and running.
And we were just talking about like before we started recording this about how like Rocket League has pretty good cosmetics. Like, they do a lot of crossover work. There's like
A
the Rick and
lot,
Morty
yeah.
stuff, there's
Yeah.
Jurassic World stuff, there's Nintendo stuff, and I'm sure that like there's a licensing fee that's associated with that. So I think
I'm sure that's more than
Yeah,
covered by
but
the
the
cost.
fundamental
no, but
thing
yeah,
is that
but
Rocket
And there
League
are already
works.
there are already loot boxes in the game.
yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is like PUBG's shit is shit. It's not good. It's bad. It's just not.
yeah.
They're not
It's
interesting.
garbage, yeah.
And they're like very low effort. Whereas at least Rocket League has a little bit of neatness to it.
And Rocket League works. Like you pick up the game and the game itself actually works. So that kind of,
Who would have thought?
I know, right?
On any platform.
And it's out of early access and it works. So like, but that makes you like it kind of warms, at least for me, it warms my heart to them a little bit because they've actually, like you guys were saying, they've made something that is worth what you paid for it out of the box. It's not like I paid $30 for this and it's buggy and it's garbage and there's bots everywhere. And
Right.
so I think that's what does it for me, at least. Like that's why I'm more okay with them. But
So back to the slippery slope thing. Where do we like? What's kind of like where do we kind of see this going? Because for me, like the first thing I see is like the next PUBG map is going to be locked by the event pass. Like you're for at least a month. Like you're not going to be able to touch it unless you buy the event pass. It's going to be like their way of squeezing $10 out of you.
Is that your
And
prediction?
That's my prediction. And I can see. I'm trying to think of a big game that's coming out in the next month or the next few months, like Battlefield 5. I know that they kind of said that they're not doing this, but it's EA. So.
Yeah, but it's EA.
Yeah, it's EA. But Battlefield 5, if they have an event pass, I can see them just essentially kind of like gating you to no end. And if you stop paying, then you're gonna lose everything. It's gonna be like basically like an MMO subscription. You have to buy the base game, and if you stop paying, then you essentially have nothing.
The other thing is that like it is a slippery slope, and I agree that all those predictions that you just made are likely to happen sooner or later for all these titles. But like effectively at the end of the day, it's just one more way that developers are making you pay for portions of the game. Like
That
making
you already bought.
Right.
No, but like they're making you buy the game in pieces. Like they like remember back in the day when developers
When you
would
bought
make a video
expansion
game and then
packs.
they would sell it to you, and then you would have it, and then they would make another fucking video
no,
game.
dude, they make an expansion pack, and then you'd have to buy that. And then they
One
make
time
another
in
one.
100, they would make an expansion pack.
There were
Like Empire
PC.
Earth.
There were a lot of expansion packs,
But the vast majority of the time, if you were buying a game, you just fucking bought it and it was the whole game. Now they have the technology to like segment off chunks of the game in all, 12 different ways with event passes and DLC and all these things where that you don't get the full game unless you pay them like $100, $120, which I know you've said before, Chris, realistically, some people argue should be the price of a game, but
well, I think
at least be upfront about it.
Yeah.
I think what you said about technology is important to think about too. Like, there's not anywhere near as much distribution on physical media now as there was even like 5 years ago. But the improvement in internet technology and everything being Wi-Fi capable over the past 5 or 6 years, it has changed how video games are consumed. So I think part of what you're seeing with this is the industry kind of trying to deal with a new consumption model, and you see games like Fortnite or whatever that are in kind of this new frontier, you could call it almost, of DLC based games or games that you don't need a physical copy. You don't have to go to the store and buy it. And on the surface, it doesn't really seem that complicated, but it opens up a whole realm of possibilities and a lot of possibilities for making money.
Yeah, but the possibilities, are mainly just to like find ways to exploit you. They pretend that it's a way of like, oh, but with the DLC and we'll make extra stuff, but like,
well,
just take another half a year, make
DLC,
the whole game, sell it to me. I will
isn't
buy
all
it. I
bad,
will play
though.
it, enjoy it tremendously. No, DLC is delightful. There's a lot of great DLC.
The
Just
DLC,
make the fucking
like-
DLC and package it with the game in the first place. Don't make it
Right, but then
DLC.
it's-
Fucking
then
make a
it's-
video game.
Then it's not DLC, and you're
And
dealing
then they can't
with.
charge you twice for it.
But here's the thing: they can come out with the game 6 months earlier if they don't include that DLC, because they would need another 6 months. Or, for example, they need another 6 months of dev time or 12 months of dev time to have that in the game, and by that point, you're kind of looking at needing to make some serious tweaks to the game engine and stuff like that, because it's not going to look up to date. It's not going to be up to date with what's going on.
Or
But
you
that-
just
so-
throw the DLC on the disc, like what they currently
That's
do.
what I was gonna say. Yeah, the
Yeah,
DLC. A lot of instances, the DLC is on the disc. There are tons of games that we know about where they literally finish the game and then segment portions of it off.
I agree with that. Like if you're making an update to like the core game mechanics or something, it should be either free DLC or included on any release or copy that you buy in the future. And there are some games that do that.
I would say game mechanics. Most games update now freely. If they do updates, they're free.
right. But there are, I'm sure if PUBG made a nice like a tweak mechanic, something that didn't really affect the core gameplay, but it was nice to have.
Well,
it
like
would
that
be-
war mode, like they could lock that behind.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it's a completely it changes how the game plays completely, and to pay to get in. So,
Part of the slippery
I don't
slope
know,
for
I-
me.
but
Sorry.
like I guess what I was getting to is like the slippery slope is there, but it's not necessarily what's at the bottom for some games isn't necessarily that bad because they're effectively already there. Like what we talked about with COD. Like that's what they're doing. You might as well just make it a yearly subscription model, and if you want to keep buying it, keep buying it. If you don't. I would like to see continued support for the people that decide that they don't want to keep buying the pass or however they decide to do it, but that's rose-tinted glasses, For other the problem is when other people see how well that works, or assuming it works well, if they see how well that works, you start getting it in games that don't need it, and that's where the problem comes in.
And then to get back to the slippery slope,
That's when the bottom of the slippery slope becomes like.
well, how far are we
the
away
fucking
realistically
thing.
from, buy the event pass and like get all of our updates to make the game run smoothly? Like that's
People
not
will
that
put up with
far
that
off the
shit.
pista.
People won't put up with that
We-
though.
But we put up now with developers doing what Chris said. They make a game, they have all of the game on the disc, and then they like make you pay to access data that's already on the game disc that you bought. Like played the, like I can't remember the example, but
Mass
like
Effect.
Mass Effect 3, play the true ending, and then you pay them another $10 or $15 to play something that you already own. We put up with that.
Right, and that's shitty. That's what I'm saying. Is
And
like
we put up with
that's where the problem comes in. But there's a right way to do it and there's a wrong way to do it. I think for some games this is kind of the only right way to do it, regardless of how it comes out, because they're already terrible money grabs anyways. They might as well just cut their losses with the physical shit and just make it a subscription-based service. But I agree. Like the problem is when you start getting shit like that, where it's locked out and you can't. Like they're intending to make it a paid feature in the future.
They're a company. They're going to make you pay for every dime they can get.
Right, but
If they can get you to pay for fucking patches, they're going to get you to pay for patches.
well, what controls the video game market? Like pretty much any market under our economic system is what are people willing to buy. If you hit it too hard, look at what happened to Battlefront, the Star Wars game.
Battlefield 2 or
Battlefront 2.
Yeah,
But at the end of Battlefront 2 took a hit, but like it realistically was
right.
still
But
fine.
if you're ham-fisted, and again, they were ham-fisted.
They still made their money back.
But they didn't make as much money as they could have.
That's true. They could have played it like
They could have
literally
played it a
any
little bit better.
form of safer
Right.
and made a lot more money. Because as it stands, there are no more microtransactions in that game.
Because that's the
now.
other side of the internet.
I mean,
companies.
the game's a year old. It doesn't matter at this point. They lost their money there.
When people can communicate as easily as they can with the internet now, you can say to people around the world, literally, like, this game's fucking bullshit. These are the reasons why. Like, they're just pumping the DLC. They're this and that and this and that. Like, and there will be a strong public reaction to it. And that's kind of my hope in this whole thing, is that people will start to see, okay, this game is bullshit. They're just trying to get money out of us. We're not gonna buy this. Like, it's gonna start to get a bad reputation, and people are gonna stop buying it. That factor it's pretty strong when it works, but you have to get it to work. And
it kind of happened with GTA Online. That's like mostly negative. It's overall mixed, but recently mostly negative on Steam.
Right, because they pumped it too hard.
Bullshit. Yeah, exactly.
They've got more money than COD.
Right.
They started easy, and then
they pumped it too hard.
Yeah.
Right.
But like, do you think they would change it if they were doing it over again? I don't.
No, they're probably gonna do the same thing with Red Dead.
How many fucking hundreds of millions of dollars did they make from that shit?
Oh, billions. It's not hundreds of millions.
So I think that answers my question.
Right, but people are thinking about that the next time you come out with a game. That's all I'm saying. If Bluehole or whoever the fuck PUBG company or whatever they're called now, if they come out with another game, like, I'm not buying that. No way.
That's true. And like with the Rockstar example, like everyone's excited for Red Dead. There is the overhanging cloud that no one wants it to be like GTA 5 Online. Everyone's worried about that. So
yeah,
it's a slippery slope, but I think, like Brian was saying, people will decide what is worth it, what is not worth it, and their developers are pushing what they can now, but there's definitely a line that people don't want to cross. So,
and the thing about GTA 5, just to make I'm not gonna get into it, but like, I played that game for 3 years without ever touching the online mode, and I thought it was fantastic. Like, if you buy the game, you can play it without touching the online, and you still have a good time because Rockstar puts the work into their games. That it makes it somewhat more excusable.
Yeah. I mean, COD, however, has no single player this time.
Yeah, there's nothing. It's just buy.
And they'll probably get some pushback against that. So
yeah,
because I mean, they're going almost the route that Destiny went, of buy the full price game, buy the full price DLC for the same price of the game.
Destiny is a fucking joke, man.
I mean, Destiny, I love Destiny. I think it's a ton of fun, but I think their business model is atrocious.
Yeah,
and they got a shit ton of pushback when they had shitty DLC for $60.
And yet, you guys both bought it. You tried to get me and Brian to buy it.
It is if you're gonna
because it's fun. We like video games. So if they can get you to pay $130 for a game, so you can have continued patch support and all the DLC and all that bullshit, we're gonna fucking do it because we like video games because they're fun and addictive.
For Destiny right now.
Well, so that's part of the line. Is like, we bought it for $10. I think it's worth. I think Destiny
plus
base,
we got 6 other games.
Right. Well, I think Destiny base is worth the $60. I think I would never buy the DLC for it, and I think they ran into the issue where no one bought. I think it was the second DLC, which was trash. So
yeah.
There's a line, and I think I'm willing to pay the $60 for a good game. In this case, Destiny, I paid $10 because I got it through Humble. But if you're gonna ask me to pay $180 for shitty content, I'm not gonna do it.
Recycle content.
Not yet.
Right. Not ever. I mean,
you say that now.
I have a job, but I'm not crazy.
Yeah, people aren't stupid. Like, your wallet's your most important thing, right?
I still gotta buy my burrito.
Right?
Gotta have it.
All right. This was very happy and optimistic. Does anyone have anything else? I think we're pretty good. Good.
I'm good.
Good.
Brian, you're good. Tell the world how good you are.
Well, guys, if you've been trying to claw your way up the slippery slope for the past 2 or 3 decades, make sure you hammer that down in the word box there. And like we said, once we get some subs, we're going to be giving away some shit. So make sure you subscribe to your channel. While you're at it, click on that little ringly dingly there so you get updated with all the cool shit going on here on the Cohesive Friendship Unit spot. And smoke them if you got them, guys.
Smoke
That's
'em if
all
you-
for me tonight, Chris.
Thanks. Smoke them if you got them. We'll catch you guys next time.